Shalom. Our Torah portion for this week is Eikev. And Eikev, of course, is part of the book of Deuteronomy. And the book of Deuteronomy is a retelling of our people's history from the time we left Egypt until the time that we were standing just outside of the land of Canaan, preparing to conquer it. In chapter 10 of this week's portion, we read of Moses and with regard to his receiving the second set of 10 Commandments. You remember in the book of Exodus, we read that Moses went up to the mountain, Mount Sinai, and brought down 2 stone tablets with the 10 Commandments written on them. Well, he discovers that the people had been worshiping the golden calf, and he throws down and smashes those first 2 tablets of the 10 Commandments, and later on he's got to go up the mountain again and get a second set of commandments. In this week's Torah portion, he speaks of receiving the second set of the 10 Commandments. Let's take a look at what it says here in the Hebrew and the English, and then I want us to go to Ki Tisa. I'm going to show you that portion in the book of Exodus where he receives the first set of 10 Commandments, and there is a subtle difference here that I want to discuss with you in a moment. Let's take a look at what it says in the Hebrew. Be'et hahi amar Adonai alai peseh lecha shnei luchot avanim karishonim va'alei alai hahara va'asita lecha aron etz ve'echtov al haluchot et devarim asher hayu al haluchot harishonim asher shibarta v'samtam ba'aron. Thereupon the Eternal One said to me, carve 2 tablets of stone like the first, and come up to me on the mountain and make an ark of wood. I will inscribe on the tablets the commandments that were on the first tablets that you smashed, and you deposited them in the ark. Now let's take a look at the receiving of that first set of tablets. Thereupon Moses turned and went down from the mountain bearing the 2 tablets of the pact, tablets inscribed on both their surfaces. They were inscribed on the one side and the other. The tablets were God's work, and the writing was God's writing, incised upon the tablets. I don't know if you caught it, but in the first account, that is the account of the giving of the first set of tablets, it is said that the tablets themselves, not just the words that were on the tablets, but the tablets themselves were the work of God. God had presumably hewed them out of the stone around Mount Sinai and wrote upon them and gave them to Moses. But in the second giving of the 10 Commandments, that second set of tablets, what does God say? God says to Moses, Moses, you go hew out those stone tablets. You provide the surface upon which I will inscribe those words. Now, it may be a subtle difference, but I see a significance in these 2 versions. The first one, God making the raw materials, the stones, preparing the stones, and in the second version, the second set of 10 Commandments, that a human being must create the stones upon which God writes. It seems to me that the Torah, the words of the Torah, come from God, are created by God. But a life of Torah is created by human beings in their earthly surroundings. We bring our life experiences, our struggles, our triumphs, our defeats, into a relationship with God's work. We provide the raw materials, so to speak, for a life of Torah. The words of Torah are God's creation, but a life of Torah is a partnership between God and people. Well, I hope that you will read this week's Torah portion and come to your own conclusions. Shabbat Shalom.
أبا الشمعون كن بعوني لا داعي تقعينني أبا الشمعون كن بعوني